Hey guys, welcome to another Thursday edition of the Vinyl Den, your channel for record collecting by record collectors. My name is Nick. Today I'm going to be talking about the recent news that one of the biggest punk bands ever, NOFX, is breaking up after 2023. There's a bunch of links down below. Make sure you go check all those out. There's a link for the Vinyl Den Facebook group, for our merch page, for the Spotify and Apple Music weekly playlist we put together, and also for the Patreon page. So make sure you go check all that out. Of course, if you enjoyed the episode, make sure you give me a little thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button down below. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you're notified every time I release new episodes. So if you're unfamiliar with who NOFX is, they started back in Los Angeles way back in 1983. They're started by Fat Mike, who's their bass player, Eric Melvin on guitar, and Eric Sandin on drums. They're joined by El Jefe back in 1991, and really kind of maintained that lineup all the way through today. They released their first album in 1988, and have released 14 studio albums all the way up to 2021. They released their latest, which is called a single album. They sold over 8 million copies worldwide, and NOFX, where they're kind of different from all the other punk, their contemporary punk bands of that same period. Talking about bands like Green Day, Bad Religion, Offspring, bands like that. NOFX has never been on a major label, so they are one of the highest selling independent bands of all time. I think the band really peaked in popularity and creativity from about 1991, because Rib came out in 1991, and then all the way up through like 2006 when Wolves and Wolves Clothing came out. A lot of great albums over that period. You got albums like White Trash, Two Heaves and a Bean, Punk and Drublic, which was their only gold-selling album, Pump Up the Volume, the War on Arism, just a bunch of great albums, even The Decline, which is an EP that came out in 99, just a bunch of fantastic music that really over from that period from the early 90s until like the mid 2000s was hugely influential to a lot of bands inside punk music and out. And Fat Mike's record label, Fat Records, has been a huge punk label, one of the biggest independent punk labels of the last 30 years, and has really helped start the careers of some of the best punk bands out there. Bands like even like more recent stuff. I'm thinking like Get Dead and the Bomb Pops are two great punk bands out there. And the cool thing is about Fat Records is if you're a band starting out, you're not locked in any kind of big long record deal. That's the thing that's always been with Fat Records is you do it. It's one album at a time. You're not locked into a 3 or 4 record deal, whatever it is. And a lot of those bands, especially early, young bands, kind of get locked into those really bad contracts and end up hurting them in the long run. Whereas with Fat Records, that's what they always kind of focus on: is you're only in there on that label for one album. If you want to do more, you can kind of continue that one album deal at a time. Fat Mike has always been an interesting character, very charismatic frontman, and is actually pretty fun to follow on social media. He does and says a lot of fun and crazy stuff. But he posted a video back on August 31st of it was a post on Instagram of him getting shaved up in Alaska, and there was a bunch of questions. People are kind of going back and forth because they're touring part of Canada, and at some point he had made a comment about never going back to Vancouver or Edmonton. So in the comments, someone asked, "Why would you never come back to Vancouver or Edmonton? You barely come to Canada anyway, so why? Fans aren't good enough. You should be glad people still come out to see you." So it's kind of an aggressive kind of post when I first read it. And the guy kind of went on to clarify in later comments. But Fat Mike responded to him and said, "Actually, we love Canada. It's just that next year will be our last year. We'll be announcing our final shows soon. It's been an amazing run." So, of course, they got a bunch of questions. People kind of going back and forth. Couldn't believe that, he was going to actually announce that's how he was going to announce the ending of NOFX after 40 years. He also did go on to say that Los Angeles would be the last place that we play. It's where we started. It's where we'll end. So they're touring throughout 2023, and what I'm guessing from these comments is after at the end of their 40-year run, because 2023 would be the 40-year anniversary of the band, that at the end of next year, that's going to be it for NOFX. At first, my reaction was, I'll believe it when I see it. When they actually stop touring and stop making new music, that's when I'll believe that NOFX is officially done and over with. But if that is kind of the end, I think they kind of deserve it. I mean, if that's the way the band wants to kind of go out, is finish that 40-year anniversary tour and kind of be done with like I said, I agree. I understand where they're coming from. Musically, they've kind of accomplished everything that they've ever wanted to do. They never went out to be one of the biggest bands in the world. They wanted to be this great independent band, just focus on creating some great music, creating great memories, and having fun and having great shows. Each member of the band has different things that they're going on and doing, aside from NOFX that they've been doing for years, whether it's just different businesses or different bands. Of course, Fat Mike has the record label that he does. He's also got a podcast that he's got going on, and just a lot of stuff that in their world. And they're all getting older. They're all in their, mid to late 50s now. And music is just a lot different than what it was 40 years ago. And their kind of viewpoints on life is a lot different also. So if it really is the end of NOFX, I think it's a kind of a great thing to kind of win out on their own terms, and kind of did it their own way. And that's kind of what their entire career has really been. I think that, I congratulate them on a great career and can't wait to see what they go on and do next individually. I think they've had a great run, but I think that creatively, I think they are kind of a spent force. And, I think, like I said, kind of going out on your own, that's not, most bands kind of don't go out like that. They either kind of go out because unfortunately, members of the band die, or they're just kind of forced out of the industry, just because they just aren't popular enough to really kind of keep producing music, and they just kind of do like tours on county fairs and things like that, where NOFX, they're still headlining and their own tours and festivals, and just musically still really relevant in 2022. So it's kind of cool to see them kind of go out that way and do their own thing. Well, that's all I got for you today, guys. Thanks for checking the show out. Drop me a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about NOFX. Do you really think that it's going to be the end after 2023? Because I'm kind of, like I said, I'm kind of up in the air on it. We'll see how it goes come 2024, if they're still together or if they really did officially kind of end it all. But let me know what you guys think. If you enjoyed the episode, make sure you give me a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button down below. That's all I got. Until next time, keep on spinning. Peace.